have they ever stopped to think for a moment about the divine precision with which the Creator removes those invisible barriers that once separated two souls destined to be together? If in recent days they have felt a sudden fluttering in their chest, an unusual sense of peace in the air, or a deep certainty that a dark shadow which smothered their happiness has finally been lifted, let it be known from the very depths of the soul that this is no illusion or passing dream. They are not hearing these words by mere chance or coincidence. This is an urgent and sacred call, sent straight from a powerful spiritual frequency that is actively seeking to reach them directly as the chosen soul. Let them prepare to hear a shocking and glorious truth. The Lord speaks directly to them today with a victorious voice and heavenly majesty, declaring that the third party has permanently vanished and the one they love has just confessed to never stopping loving them. What the Almighty has done in secret to break that triangle of pain, and how that heavy interference was fully neutralized, will now leave them completely stunned as their beloved partner returns to finally declare their genuine love, utterly speechless. In fact, they themselves will scarcely believe or easily process the sheer speed with which heaven has now changed circumstances in their favor. This is not simply another romantic story written in the very book of their existence. It is a decree of emotional victory for their destiny, written and signed by the very hand of God, with a firm promise to put an end to all those tearful nights, doubts, and bitter waiting. The sovereign Creator is about to reveal a plan of restoration to you, breathtaking healing crafted meticulously from eternity to unite your lives, healing your past, and lift your union to a place of peace, dignity, and unshakable stability upon this earth. But you must understand with absolute clarity that this urgent warning from the heavens cannot be received halfway with haste or doubt, or taken lightly. Every second spent together here holds a powerful spiritual instruction that the Most High desires to send for your alignment, starting this very moment. There are clues revealing how that third person finally left, the one who was interfering, and the exact telling words the one you love will use to confess their deepest truth. The reason why heaven let you walk through that desert, and the profound truth of why your heart must stay free from resentment to receive this blessing. Right now, you might wonder with a doubtful heart how that obstacle could ever vanish when it seemed like an unbreakable wall, or how they could confess their love after such a cold distance. But to truly understand everything the Lord wants to tell you today, and to decode with perfect precision the scale of this relationship miracle, it is absolutely vital and crucial that you hear this divine message from the very first second to the last moment completely uninterrupted. Missing a single part of this revelation, it will sever their direct connection with the chain of divine signals that higher forces have meticulously set in motion for their vindication. Energy on the spiritual plane is shifting at this very instant with an overwhelming and unstoppable force. And the manifestation of this sincere return is now accelerating much faster than their own human minds can ever process. But this sacred design requires an unwavering faith, a calm and peaceful spirit, along with their absolute focus. They must not let vain distractions of their environment, voices of doubt, or the habit of scrolling rapidly through their screens steal this divine opportunity to comprehend the massive victory they have just received. The veil of mystery covering the confession of the person they love will unfold, step by step, detail by detail, and layer by layer in the upcoming parts of this message, where their true worth is honored, completely silencing the lies that once tried to separate them. They must always remember God's holy word only brings light, peace, and total fullness when they have the spiritual maturity to listen patiently to the end. Walking away at this moment is not just ignoring a message. It is ignoring a report from the Most High confirming to them that the obstacle was removed and that true love has triumphed. In this highly sacred, urgent, and unique moment, while destiny's eternal vibration seeks to seal their happiness, they must still their minds, casting away all fear of disappointment, never looking away for even a second. They gently press the heart icon, or they can save this message right now as a pact of indestructible faith to align their vibrational frequency with the Most High, officially activating this covenant of blessing and opening the path for powerful revelations that are about to unfold. They leave a comment below, writing with absolute conviction and spiritual authority. The following phrase, the third person fell. Divine love triumphed, and I received my partner. Their faithful presence and constant commitment from this moment until the final second is the sole key to unlock the spiritual prophecy that breaks all interferences and cements the arrival of true love just decreed for them. Their confirmation has been recorded in the book of eternity at the exact millisecond they align their heart with this truth. By writing those words, the bond of the third person shattered in the invisible realm, and effective truth began to manifest in a completely irreversible way. They breathed deeply, once more releasing all fears, because right now the first veil is lifting to expose a hidden truth their rational mind never dared to dream. The rival who tried to destroy that connection never acted out of sincere love, but through manipulation, greed, or lies to divide what God had joined. But their time is up. The Creator has cleared the path, so the one they love can step forward with absolute freedom to confess that all this time they were their only thought. Real. The chosen soul prepares because the following divine clues will open their eyes and show them how the King of Kings transformed their desert into a glorious testimony. Just reflecting for a moment on the bitter seasons in which they had to watch that third person seemingly get away with everything, manipulating the mind of their beloved, sowing discord behind their back and building a wall of distance and coldness between them. On multiple occasions, they felt completely helpless watching the one they loved fall for the lies or give in to pressure from someone who sought only to destroy, not build. They had to swallow tears in the quiet of their room, suffering from the injustice of seeing their devotion and unwavering loyalty cast aside and ignored, while that intruder took a place that was not theirs. While they tried to maintain dignity and faith, pulling back in silence to avoid begging for affection, and guarding the purity of their soul in the heavenly realm, the Lord watched every tear and every act of restraint. Perhaps in their exhaustion, they believed that everything was lost, that their beloved would never wake up, or that they would have to accept a life of loneliness. But honestly, did they know that when God joins two souls with a kingdom purpose, any third party is a temporary lie that crumbles the moment the Creator breathes upon the truth? Now, pay extremely close attention to this next divine clue, as it will make their heart beat with a rhythm of deep emotion and awaken a certainty unwavering within their spirit about what has occurred. The Most High will. God says today the third person has vanished and the truth has come to light. The interference that tried to bind that person simply could not withstand the heavy pressure of divine light. A final break has occurred. The lie of that third person was fully exposed. Their true intentions of greed and manipulation rose straight to the surface, and the one you love was confronted with an inescapable reality. This awakening, triggered by God, made them realize with absolute and crushing clarity that leaving you was the absolute biggest mistake of their life, and that peace, purity, respect, and genuine happiness had only ever been found by your side. The confession they are bringing to you is not some half-hearted excuse. It is a deeply humble admission that during all this painful time apart, even in the noisy chaos of that third person, you were the one who filled their secret prayers in those long nights of insomnia. The world around you will tell you that relationships shattered by third parties cannot be saved. They will advise you to resent the past, and they will judge this potential restoration by the wounds you suffered during that trial. The people who watched you suffer will say you should not offer a second chance, and will judge the past confusion of your partner, not realizing they were under the veil of a spiritual deception. But the eyes of mankind are utterly blind and heavily limited. God does not judge our trials by earthly standards. Instead, the Creator uses these deserts to purify our intentions, break down human pride, and prove that real love, what is sanctified by Him, is stronger than any trap of the shadow. They are being called to embody the sacred model of reconciliation and restitution, where every lie is buried deep and pure love shines with greater strength and maturity than before, just as it is written with divine fire in the book of 1 Samuel 16:7. For the Lord does not see what man sees. since human eyes look only at what is before their eyes, but the Lord looks at the heart. The Creator has seen deep, sincere repentance in the heart of the one they love, and has seen the faithfulness in theirs. For this very reason, this decree of reunification weighs more today than all the shadows of the past. They must understand the grand weight and the extreme urgency of this very moment. For the chosen soul, this is no vain desire, no shallow romantic illusion, nor some random coincidence, but firm sacred decree of liberation and emotional restoration that has entered its phase of physical manifestation. Their season of weeping over the schemes of third parties, those dark days when they felt completely cast aside and the pain of false distances, are now being completely eradicated by the unfolding of this heavenly triumph. The divine universe has rolled away the stone of that obstacle with such force and precision that in a very short time they will witness the one they love stand before them, stripped of pride, without the shadow of any third party, ready at last to declare an indestructible love. What once seemed like a sad ending will become the start of their glorious story. And so the chosen soul can hold their head high with dignity of a king. They shed the garments of sadness, casting it aside once and for all, fear and resentment. They prepare their heart to receive that confession with the maturity of one who feels supported by the Most High without complaints, unnecessary, but establishing the respect and truth as the foundation, immovable for this new chapter. They will watch as those who bet on the failure of their story are forced to witness in silence, as God places them in a position of harmony, loyalty, and happiness unshakable. But this revelation has barely begun to show its surface. The precise reason as to why the departure of that third person will also unleash a blessing of financial prosperity and peace in their home will be the next truth to shake their spirit. They must keep watching, and they plunge without hesitation into what comes next. The divine confirmation has been sealed and written in the books of eternity. And right at this very moment, the invisible energy that surrounds their being accelerates to a speed from which there is no return. Breathing deeply, they fill their lungs with peace as the next veil of mystery is lifting before them to expose the spiritual dimension of this triumph over the lie, while they remained calm in their isolation, trusting their pain to the justice of the Creator in the courts of heaven. The decree of divorce was executed spiritually with that third person. The Most High broke the chains of manipulation that bound the person they love and restored their freedom of spirit to return to where they belonged. They watch in awe how God's grace operates when He decides, restoring a bond that was attacked by envy. The Lord allowed the one they love to experience the bitterness of deceit alongside that third party, so they would learn to value the vast difference between the light they radiate and the darkness of worldly greed. That contrast was the lesson they needed to break their own pride. Now that the third party is out of the picture, their beloved one returns with a conviction that nothing in this world can ever shake again. The confession that they never stopped loving them will serve as a divine guarantee spiritually. They will know this return is not out of loneliness or haste, but from the deep revelation that they are their destiny designed by God. It is exactly like the fulfillment of the prophetic scriptures where the Lord destroys the plans of the crafty so their hands cannot execute their plans, and where truth triumphs to bring freedom to the captives. No matter how strong the bond seemed with the third party or what manipulative ties they tried to bind or how confident that interference felt in defeating them, the divine command's light is a striking bolt that shattered that lie in a single second. This spiritual truth irrefutably remains etched in history within the sacred words of Psalm 139, verses 7 through 10. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I ascend to heaven, you are there. And if in Sheol I make my bed, behold, you are there. If I take the wings of the dawn and dwell by the farthest sea, even there your hand will hold me fast, your right hand. They and the beloved, they rest under the protective shadow of that same right hand. There is no third party on earth, nor any scheme in the darkness that can ever keep apart those whom the Creator has destined to remain joined as one. They do not need to seek out that third person to confront them. nor must they go searching for their partner to demand explanations. This chosen soul is only being asked to stand tall in their true dignity, cultivate inner peace, and welcome the return of this love with the serenity of one who is backed by the King of Kings. For it is their spiritual greatness that will keep order in this new chapter. Their posture of faith is the magnet that seals victory in the visible world. They have endured being misunderstood in silence, bearing the deep pain of seeing someone else take their place, yet they were tested in the intense forge, unbroken. But God is using this very moment to grant them a restoration that will completely overshadow any past suffering. He is making what was once a source of shame and tears turn into the most powerful testimony of love in their circle. This is the emotional vindication, most magnificent, the sweet restitution of honor they have so deeply deserved, crafted exclusively for them. They must prepare their heart to witness the signs of this confession become real in their daily reality very soon. They will hear the sincere call or message seeing determination in those eyes when they meet face to face, realizing the shadow of the third party has vanished completely from the picture. The era of drama and of doubts and pain caused by outsiders is now closed irreversibly, and the era of certainty and loyalty and declared love has begun. They must stay focused, high protecting their space from bitter memories of the past, continuing with absolute focus, because the turning point of their story is now just moments away from being revealed. They must not be distracted, because what comes next is the visible crowning of their victory over deceit. They are about to witness with their own eyes how God Most High transforms every single of their past tears and lonely days into a testimony of love, radiant, victorious, and unforgettable, leaving that interfering third party and anyone who ever doubted their future love life completely stunned, speechless, and amazed by the majesty of his divine plans. For a long time, they had to learn the hard way to walk through the wilderness, finding comfort in the Creator's promises while watching their partner in the arms of deceit, trusting that the faithfulness of God would not ever leave their life in humiliation. In their lonely nights, they wondered if the truth would ever come to light, or if they were destined to suffer for an unfinished love. But today, the divine answer is revealed with absolute clarity before them. The Lord Himself has cast down that third person to hand them the complete victory in their hands. This is a level of restoration, love, and heavenly support that transcends all human understanding, showing that it makes it clear that when God decides to protect a kingdom union, no earthly obstacle can stand, destroy it. When the time of the trial ends and the decree of release is proclaimed from the heavenly throne, absolutely every single trauma, deceptions, interferences, and fears of the past are swept away by a flood of grace that will leave them completely breathless. This infallible and eternal promise is written with sacred fire in the book of Isaiah 60:22. The Lord promises that in His time He will hasten this. Hear this declaration with absolute clarity and engrave it deep within their spirit. In His time, at this very moment of their history, He will make the reunion with the one they love materialize in a swift and spectacular way. When they have managed to keep their heart pure amid betrayal, God does not delay even a second to release the fullness of His gifts upon their life. The stage they begin to walk together from this day will not be clouded by the shadow of doubt, nor by mistrust, nor by fear of others, but by the strength of divine provision and unchanging joy. That third rival party and all who hoped for their defeat will be forced to witness how the Creator establishes them in a position of honorfulness and unshakable happiness. Picture for a moment the deep peace and indescribable relief that will fill their soul when they hear that sincere confession from the lips of the one they love. Their romantic life will rise with strength. Both of their finances will multiply under the anointing of the restored truth. The shadows of the past will leave their mind, and their home will become a sanctuary of laughter, respect, and abundance shared. They will walk the same streets with their head held high, holding the hand of God's chosen partner. For them, knowing the Almighty Himself was the one who broke the lie and united their lives forever. Those who watch them suffer because of the interference will stand completely, frozen seeing the light's strength and deep devotion shining within them. They will secretly wonder how such an obstacle was overcome to emerge victorious. But the answer was already written in the heavens. It was the Lord's justice for his chosen soul. Their patient endurance has been the spiritual key that opened the storehouses of heavenly glory, and God is using this very moment to restore their honor, fulfilling beautifully what he declared in Isaiah 61:7. Instead of their double confusion and their public shame, they will rejoice in their inheritance, therefore. In their land they will possess double and have everlasting joy. The years they had to endure the humiliation, the gossip of others, and silent pain are being repaid at this very moment with a double portion of pure love, loyalty, unconditional and endless joy when receiving their partner's sincere confession. From this day forward, all loneliness and uncertainty leave their story for good, and this emotional victory becomes their permanent state. The decisive action that the Almighty will perform for their life will be swift and unforgettable. They will see every single trace of the third party crumble. Words of sincere love they so deeply awaited as they witness the exact moment when their life takes the final step toward the new and glorious chapter of their victory shared. When this promise finally becomes fully visible in their reality, daily upon receiving that confession and seeing the third person removed, they will feel an immense, indescribable wave of peace, heavenly, washing over every fiber of their being, instantly erasing every trauma, every scar, and every memory of pain of the past. The time of schemes and suffering has now ended, forever making way for a season of restoration, truth, and fullness of radiant love, more abundant and joyful than ever experienced. This is the sacred, crucial moment for them to secure and seal their covenant with their destined victory. They must write at this very moment in the comment section with all the strength of their spirit this following declaration of faith. The third person fell. Divine love won, and I received my partner. Writing these words, they send an irrevocable decree to the spiritual realm that they are completely ready to receive the fullness of the inheritance and love that God has prepared for them, without doubt or fear. They should not keep this truth to themselves. They must share this immediately with those souls who need to remember that God removes lies and triumphs with truth in love stories. They can subscribe to the channel to keep nourishing their spirit with the light of heaven, the peace that surpasses all understanding, the eternal protection and invincible love of God Most High always cover, guide, and prosper their every step. She's chosen for this bright and glorious new chapter. No,